On Patrol with the Suffolk County PBA is a dynamic podcast that brings together some of the most influential voices in the nation.
From union leaders and elected officials to law enforcement experts who explore the pressing issues shaping America.
Through thought-provoking conversations, we empower listeners to think critically about law enforcement, political policy, and the future of our society.
Available on Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and all Suffolk PBA social media platforms. Tune in to On Patrol with the Suffolk County PBA.
Welcome to another episode of On Patrol with the Suffolk County PBA. I'm CJ Hunter, the treasurer of the PBA.
I'm Tanner Brandemore, the Sergeant at Arms with the PBA.
And today we're excited to have Tricia Mullen joining us. Trish is the president of the Metro New York C.O.P.S organization. C.O.P.S stands for Concerns of Police Survivors. And she's also the new Northeast Region trustee, which covers 9 states.
9 states.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, Trish.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming on. You have an interesting story to tell, and you're part of this very important group that helps families all over the country. But tell us a little bit about yourself.
Myself? Well, as you know, my husband's Detective Stephen Mullen from the 1st Precinct, and he passed away 6.5 years ago from a 9/11 cancer. And we have our 2 sons, Patrick and James. And I found when I lost Stephen and getting involved with the C.O.P.S organization that this is a great group of people. It's a great organization. And I found myself getting more involved and giving back. And as I was giving back, it was helping me. And my sons found it was helping me. And they're like, stay with that organization.
Right.
So I've just I retired from my job and I've just thrown myself into C.O.P.S and doing the best I can to help families. And no matter what their situation is, I try to help each family, as many families I can, because NYPD is tremendous. I don't know everybody, although I'm trying to. But it's rewarding to give back and to help families through their tragedy.
That's awesome to hear. How'd you get involved in this to begin with? Like, how'd you find this organization?
They actually came to me. 2 of the ladies, Sue Siano, who's a Suffolk County, and Muriel Worse, whose brother was a trooper, came to Stephen's services. And they gave me their business card. And actually, when they were speaking to me, all I heard was blah, 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 blah. I wasn't taking anything. But later on, I was like, what's this business card I have? So I called them. They called me. We met. We talked. We had dinner. And I was like, maybe I would like to go to a meeting. I mean, there are other people who are like me, like I'm not by myself. And then you go to Washington, D.C., and you see thousands of people. I'm like, wow. And then Sue had said to me, Tricia, you should go to the spouse weekend away that they have just for spouses. And I went. And when you get off the bus and you have a couple of 100 women and they're all hugging each other and so good to see you and we connecting, I'm like, these women are crazy. Why aren't they crying 24 hours a day like me? But by the end of that weekend, I was hugging people and I had made friends and connected with women from across the country that we all share this bond of no matter how you lost your loved one, you lost your loved one in the line of duty and we all connect. So I have a group of ladies coming to my house for Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's great.
From all over the country. And some are spending the week with me, some just a weekend, but we're going to go see the Thanksgiving Day parade. We're going to go into the city and we're going to have a weekend together.
That's great that you guys have each other like that. Cause we hear about the value of like support groups, right? And even though this is a group that it keeps you busy, you're supporting each other. Even though you're there for other people, helping other people is helping you in return as well.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great to hear.
So they have these weekend aways for every category, parents, a kids camp for the little ones, and then they have like 2 teen camps. They have young adults, they have adult children, they have co-workers, spouses for co-workers, siblings. They have a retreat for extended family. They have a retreat or a weekend away for every category. So everybody can take advantage.
And this is through C.O.P.S?
This is all through C.O.P.S. So when if you signed up or registered with C.O.P.S, and you put down what your survivorship is, you could go to that weekend away and it's only those people. So I can't go to coworkers. I can only go to spouses.
Okay.
So in that weekend there's counseling services or breakout sessions. It's actually a lot of fun. You can shed tears, but it's also a lot of fun. And the connection across the country is not just locally, but across the country is really amazing for everybody. And it helps everybody. It truly, truly does. It's such a wonderful bonding experience.
So that's interesting to me, because I always viewed this organization as, spouses, families, children. I didn't even think of the aspect of coworkers. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize that you guys are there and have specific groups dedicated to the coworkers.
There's also
that coworkers
go through loss. For spouses. Okay. So the coworker and the spouse can go, because spouses, I don't want to say suffer, but they can go through the traumatic events also, because now you have your spouse coming home who's hurting. So now they realize, you know what, those spouses need the help too, to help their own spouse. So they have that too.
Right.
So
that's an interesting connection there. I never knew that you guys were a part of that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's an amazing organization. It truly.
It sounds like, especially because this our job of being cops is it relies a lot on camaraderie between guys that you work with, and it's good to see that the wives of fallen officers feel the same camaraderie when they get together to honor the loss of their significant other.
Yeah,
it really is.
I just love it, and that's why I retired, to give more of myself. And I just I easily connect with people, because I don't ever say, well, my loss is more important than your loss. Every loss is the most important to that person, no matter what the category that you might come under.
Right. Everybody's going through tremendous grief.
So I respect everybody, and I respect every law enforcement agency that I work with. And I just say to people, I'm here to hug with you. I'm here to cry with you. I'm here to laugh with you. And I'm here to, listen to the stories that you have of your loved one, coworker, or, family loved one. I'm here for all of it. And, there are a lot of hugs out there.
That's got to be so great and so comforting for somebody to hear, right? Because when you meet these, widows, that you're basically a stranger in the beginning, and you're just there to support them, and you're there to give them a hug right away. It's got to help them feel like, all right, there's people out there that are going through what I went through, and they're doing okay. Right. So there's hope for me when I as I'm going through this grieving process.
Yes. Yeah. In the beginning, it's really tough, because it's like, how am I going to survive this? But one small step at a time, and you'll learn, and everybody's time frame is different, but you'll learn that it's okay to laugh and not feel guilty. It's okay to go out and have a good time and not feel guilty. It's okay.
Right.
But you learn to live through your grief, because the grief doesn't go away. The grief never goes away. The loss is always there, but you learn to live through it and hopefully grow. And
I'm sure your significant others wouldn't want you to live your life like that either, with grief holding you back from continuing to live on, because your life goes on.
Right. Did I want it to go on in the beginning? No. But now I realize, I have a support group and if I'm having a really bad day, I can call another spouse or one of my friends and say, how are you doing today? They're like, I'm okay. How are you? I'm like, I'm kind of having a rough day. And we can chat about it, or we text about it. And it's just always it's always good to know that there's somebody a phone call away or like a text away that's there to reach out and help.
So tell us a little bit about Stephen. How did you guys meet? Tell us a little bit about your story.
Our story. We met. Stephen became an NYPD officer in January of 1986 is when he entered that academy. I met him in November of 1988.
Okay.
I was 22 and he was just turning 25. So we were babes. And so I went into this relationship knowing, okay, this is an officer. Am I going to continue with this relationship knowing that he's an officer? Do I want this kind of life, knowing that weekends are being given up, holidays are being given up, nights are being given up, or walk away? But we just knew within a few months, this is us. I'm like, all right, I'm in it. I'm in it. So we were married in March of 1992, and we had found our house in November of 1991. And he gave me a choice. Well, we're either going to own a home and have a less expensive wedding, or we're not getting married and not owning a home. I'm like, I guess we're going for the less expensive wedding. Knights of Columbus, here we come. So our reception was at a Knights of Columbus, and we ended up buying our home, a big house, because we wanted to fill it up with children. That was our plan.
Oh, that's great.
And so he has always been a Massapequa. He born and raised in Massapequa, and so I moved into Massapequa.
Makes sense. It's Cop Town over there.
It's really Copland. It truly is. And we began our life together. So we were 2 kids. We didn't have a lot of money, so we slowly did things around the house that we could do. And then Patrick came along, and then like a year later, James came along, and we were tough parents.
So you had this growing family, 2 young boys at home.
2 young boys, and Stephen's career, moving up. So he, right after we were married, he got called for Suffolk. And then it was like, okay, then we had to discuss. He's like, I have a great career going on with NYPD. Do I leave and start over? At the bottom of the pay, we have this mortgage we have to make. And so I was like, Stephen, it's your career. I will support you with whatever you want to do. Mm-hmm. So he figured, he thought about it and said, for our future family, Suffolk might be the better,
right?
The better bet. So he retired from NYPD and went into the Academy for Suffolk in September of 1992. And the one thing he said to me is like, you have to pay the mortgage, so make sure you don't lose your job. Well, on his birthday, I got laid off.
Oh, my God.
Jeez.
In November, he comes home from the Academy.
2 months into the Academy.
2 months into the Academy. God. And he's like, what are you doing home? And I'm like, crying on the floor. Happy birthday, I got laid off. He's like, that's not funny.
Oh, my God.
No, that's it. But we made it work.
You adjust and adapt.
We adjusted, we adapted, and we made it work. He's like, all right, well, let's cut back, and you better start cutting some coupons. I know you don't like to do. And we managed.
Right.
We made it work. And Patrick came along in 94. And then it was like, okay, do I continue working or do I stay home? And then we looked at the numbers. He's like, if you continue working, technically, you're only bringing home $50.
Right. The cost of childcare is tremendous.
Right. He's like, so for that, you stay home. And I was like, sure. No. And then James came soon after Patrick, 15 months later. And we weren't able to have any more, but we gave the boys, we ended up putting them in, we chose Catholic school. Okay. And so they did St. William the Abbot till 8th, and then they did Chaminade. Which I'm proud that we were able to do that.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for the kids because not only is it a great education at those Catholic schools, but there becomes a network there too with the alumni.
Yeah. Well, we didn't have a lot of money because I did go back to work part-time, but we were pretty much a 1-salary family,
right?
Taking care of all the bills. And she was very proud to be able to be that true supporter and, of the family. I did go back to work to help pay for the high school tuition and then college tuition.
Okay.
But, we sacrificed that. We didn't do vacations. We camped. That was our vacation. Or the boys didn't do summer camp because it was Camp Mommy because we didn't have the money because we were, doing what we could to give them the best life. So, Camp Mommy every day was very different. Like, oh God, what do I do with these 2 kids every day? But we managed, and we got through. We saved enough to be able to pay their undergrad school, so great. They came out of undergrad debt free. And then when Patrick was like, "I want to go to law school. I want to be a prosecutor," so he was like, "We can't pay law school. You're going to have to do a loan. You're going to, you're going to have to loan." So he did, and we were helping to pay for it. Patrick paid some of it. And then when we lost Stephen in Patrick's second year, thank goodness for the Suffolk County Memorial Fund, they stepped in and helped. So Patrick, as sad as it is that the boys lost their dad, Patrick is fortunate that he had that extra help from the Suffolk County Memorial Fund. So I try to volunteer back with them at their golf outing.
Yeah, it's a great organization. We just saw you at the golf outing recently.
At the golf outing. I'm like, what can I do to help, to give as my way of saying thank you for what you did for our son.
Yeah, the Memorial Fund is another great organization. They give, I think it's $100,000 to every child for college education, right?
Right.
If they lose a parent in the line of duty.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a great organization.
So James has, toyed about going back to school, but I don't know if he will, because his girlfriend's an attorney. Patrick's ADA. Mm-hmm. Patrick's wife is also for Suffolk County in the the district attorney's office. So James like, well, should I join the Klan? And but I don't know. His career is growing, and
he's doing
really
great
well.
as a Nassau County police officer. Yeah,
he's doing really well. He's growing, and he was born to be an officer.
Yeah. So that's got to be a proud parent moment when you find out your son wants to go into law school. Yep. Right? I mean, it's something that you think about that when they're little babies. What are they going to be when they grow up? And now it's like, oh, I'm raising a lawyer, and your other son becomes a police officer.
Yeah. That's probably a scary moment as a parent. Your son wants to become a police officer.
Yeah, that's scary. It's very different worrying about your husband being an officer to your child. It's my worry is up there, but he has Stephen's sense. He doesn't do crazy things because that wasn't Stephen, and that's not how my sons think. They think very much like him. Thank goodness, not like me. So, but they're very much their dad. They have me in them too, but their thought processes are very much their dad, and I'm very proud of that. And I know Stephen is too.
So, take us back to September 11, 2001, right? I know that it might be hard, but it's a day that changed our country, but in particular, your life and your family.
Well, when that happened, Stephen was home, and he told me later on, he said he was off, and he said, I'm going in. I'm like, going in where? He's like, I've been called in to go into the city. I'm like, please don't go. Mm-hmm. Like, we have the boys, as you would know, the boys were very little.
Right.
And I was like, I begged him not to go. And I wasn't thinking that he would be sick years later. I was thinking, what if there was another attack?
Right.
Yeah. So I was like, Steve, if something else happens, I can't do this without you. Like, you're my life. You have to be here to raise our children, like our sons. I can't do this without you. You can't go. And he's like, no, they're sending me in because I have NYPD experience.
Right.
So he had told me he was being ordered in. He volunteered. We all know they volunteered to go in. But if he told me he volunteered, it would have been like a battle between the two of us. Right. So by him saying to me, well, I'm being ordered in, I was like, all right, but just please come home to me. So he went in on the 11th and the 12th. I believe there were 2 12-hour tours. And I don't know what he breathed in, but whatever it was, it landed in the salivary gland. And then 17 years later. So I'm blessed, and I say it all the time. I had Stephen for these 17 years to raise our sons. And I know how blessed I am, because when I look at other wives or other parents who have lost their loved one and they're raising these small children, my heart just breaks for them. And I just hold them in the highest regard with so much respect. So I know how blessed I am to have Stephen, to raise our sons into their early 20s. But my heart's still broken. Right. So, but I did ask him not to go. So, but when he was diagnosed with his cancer, he passed 4 months later.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah. And I could understand.
It was aggressive and was nasty.
I could understand him feeling that sense of duty to go back out to the city to try to help people. Oh, right? I know. Because that's the person he was, right? Yeah. He was a hero.
He was NYPD. His friends who were NYPD were there. Right. My brother, as an FDNY fireman, he was there. So he's like, I know he felt the need to go. So I understand that. Yeah. But I was being selfish, and I wanted my husband home.
Right.
You truly can't emphasize how much of a hero and how brave he was. Like, imagine, I was in 3rd grade when 9/11 happened, so I can't imagine what it was like when the towers got hit and you're a cop and you're volunteering to go into the city where it's being under attack. So.
Right. And, I remember, so obviously we're both younger. I was in high school on September 11, 2001. But I remember the sense of duty that even high school kids were feeling. All of a sudden, it was like everybody was saying, oh, I'm enlisting in the Marines, I'm enlisting in the Navy. Mm-hmm. Everybody wanted to join the military. Everybody wanted to become first responders. Everybody wanted to do whatever they could to help.
Right.
A lot of people got that sense of duty, right, because of that.
Yeah, the country just came together as one.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I understand where his thought process is. It took me a while to understand it. But who would have thought that we would have all these illnesses and all these 9/11 passings every single year?
Right.
Like not even year. It's more like weekly.
Right. And still happening.
And still happening. And I bumped into like, that's still happening. I'm like, it's going to continue. It doesn't stop. It's just not in the media anymore. Soon after Stephen, I realized like Stephen was all over the media, but I realized not long after him, you don't see it in the media anymore. It's not in the papers anymore. It's not, you don't hear about these officers and fired people and even civilians passing from these wicked 9/11 cancers.
And what a lot of people don't realize is, yes, a lot of time has passed, right? But these cancers that are being attributed to 9/11, it's because maybe you were a 22-year-old cop who responded to ground zero and you breathed all this stuff in, and now you're getting a cancer in your 40s that most people don't get till they're in their 70s, 80s, 90s. Right. Like it's atypical for an otherwise healthy 40-year-old male to get this kind of cancer. And that's why a lot of these things are being attributed to 9/11. And that's, that's the battle we're facing now for even some of our members. We have members that are battling 9/11 cancers still on our job, whether it be from their time as NYPD cops in 2001 or from their time as Suffolk cops responding or as volunteers. Some guys were in the military. Right. So this is still definitely an ongoing issue for us.
Yeah, and sadly, it's not going to stop.
Right.
It's going to continue.
Yeah. Now, so we talked about your two sons. What was it like when your younger son, James, said, Mom, you know what? I want to follow in Dad's footsteps and become a police officer too?
I was, no, like that slow motion.
Yeah.
But he morphed into looking just like Stephen, minus the mustache. He looks just like Stephen. And I just saw it in him. Like, he graduated college. He thought about going, he had actually registered to go on to get his, to get his master's. And then when Steve got sick, he's like, I'm going to back away from school so I could be home to help take care of Dad. And then, he did some things. He did a little teaching.
So he did make a life change of his own to help with Dad too.
Yes. Yeah. Patrick came home from school as Stephen got progressively worse, and he was able to, like his professors had said, go home, be with your family. Because I think one of Patrick's friends told a professor, like, Patrick's dad is really ill. Mm. So they said to Patrick, go home, you could do your work online, be with your family. So they were very good to Patrick. And Patrick was an RA, so they're like, you won't lose your position as an RA. So, and James, he was futzing around a little bit trying to figure out what he wanted to do. He became a teacher for a little while in a Catholic school, and then he went into a public school, and he's like, this isn't what I want. So he tried the NYPD route, and it didn't work. The Suffolk route surprisingly didn't work, and that's a whole story in itself. But he's in Nassau, and he absolutely loves it. He truly, truly loves it. The kid was born to be an officer.
Oh, that's great. So we've had the pleasure of meeting your sons on numerous occasions. And I remember when he got hired, how proud you were and how proud it seemed like he was too, to be part of, already part of this Blue family, but to continue on with the legacy.
The legacy.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is, and I'm not sure about Suffolk, because when Stephen came out of the academy, he went right into the 106 car. I don't remember him toying around in different cars, but Nassau, James went from car to car for quite a while. And then he finally got his car assignment. And he came home and he's like, Mom, I got my car assignment. Guess what the number is? I'm like, Well, it starts with a 1 because we're in the first. And a lot of people from Suffolk and for myself had called Commissioner Ryder and said, please put him in the first. Please put him in the first. It was important for us, for him to be in the first, for James. And I'm like, he's like, no, I got the 106 car.
Wow.
And I was like, I really think I almost fell down. I was like, wait a minute. He's like, did you have anything to, I'm like, how would I have anything to do with your car number? I'm like, never even dawned on me. We pushed the first, but the car number is a fluke.
Right.
So for him to get the car number that his dad had in Suffolk County is crazy.
Yeah, that's gotta feel like a nice little connection that he has with his father now.
Right. I was like, if dad isn't on your shoulder watching over you, I don't know who is. But for you to get that car number was crazy.
How much of a sense of pride do you see in him when he told you that story?
Well, yeah, he was like, at first he really thought I had something to do with it. I'm like, no, I would never even thought about the car number because how do you control a car number?
Right.
You know, you can't take somebody out of a car number to put somebody else in it. That would never happen. So he was proud. So there's a picture of Stephen from the year James was born back in 96, posing in front of a bodega in front of his car. So James found the picture. So he went to work and said, you got to take the same pose as me in front of my 106 car. So he has the 2 pictures in a frame. And then his girlfriend, Nicole, had James superimposed onto the same picture as Stephen and had it put like on a canvas. And so it's hanging up in the basement. So James is on that same picture as Stephen, which is really cool.
That's nice.
Really
that is really cool. He
has a lot of connections to his dad in the police department.
Yeah, that's great. And, Stephen was always an active cop, right? A great mentor to the younger cops and eventually got promoted to detective.
Yep.
Your son James is having a great career in his own right now, and he just got assigned to a new special unit, right?
Yeah, the SRT is a new unit in Nassau County, and James is one of the first in it. I don't know how many guys are in it, but him, I know Liam Ryder are in it, but, so it's a new unit and James is in it. So he's excited about it.
That's great.
That's awesome. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, he's going to have a good career.
Yeah, that's awesome. And now your son, Patrick, right? Works in the district attorney's office, right? He's an ADA there. And I think you said a senior ADA, right? And so he's fell into that life of law enforcement as well. He felt that calling just on a different branch of the same team.
Yep. Yeah. And so is his wife. His wife too is also a senior ADA in Suffolk County. So
what kind of cases has he been working on? Is he in any particular unit, like say financial crimes?
He's in major crimes.
Major crimes. Okay.
He's in major crimes out of Riverhead, and Tara is in a unit public corruption at a Hapag.
Okay.
So
they both get to see some interesting things and work on some very intricate.
They don't talk about their cases with me.
Okay.
They just say that they're very busy, and I know they're busy. I've asked Patrick if I can come to when he's doing a trial, and he's like, absolutely not. I don't need you holding up signs, vote for the ADA, guilty. I'm like, I won't bring the pom-poms. So he's forbidden me to know when he has a trial going on. I'm like, you're not fun. He's like, no, I don't need you coming and humiliating me. I'm like, I'm your cheerleader. He goes, right, at home, not in the court.
That's funny.
So I'm like, I won't do that. He's like, yes, you will.
That's funny. And so we get to see you guys fairly often at a lot of the memorial services we go to. And I don't think there's been a year where you've missed the Washington, D.C. Memorial yet either, right? No. And that's always a great trip. I always suggest every police officer in the country should go there at least once.
I've been pushing that too. In fact, now that James is an officer, he goes every year and he tries to bring another officer with him. You need to experience it.
100%.
As important it is to have the union representatives there, it's so important to have officers there to see what, tens of thousands of officers there and the bonding that they have and meeting each other and, not doing business cards, but you guys do the the patches and just I have a collection of patches also, and it's just great to see the families, see that memorial service, see the wall with, with all the families, and that are there. And the one thing I do love that I go to every year is the single bagpiper at midnight going around the wall. It's one bagpiper each night, and it is so really heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
Having that single bagpipe. I don't know if you've experienced that, but everybody should experience that too.
Yeah, there are a lot of moving moments during that week. And one of the ones that made a big impression on me, and I've only been going for a few years now, but I don't ever want to miss it again. But my first year when I was at the candlelight vigil for the first time.
The candlelight vigil.
Right? And, you're there with all these people, reading out the names of every police officer added to the wall, in that particular year. And then all of a sudden, the candlelight vigil starts. And from one candle, there's tens of thousands of candles that light up in the matter of 5 minutes. And the entire National Mall just has that glow to it. That was really moving to me the first time I saw it.
And it's quiet.
It is quiet.
How do you get 20,000 people or more not say a peep?
Right.
And
there's usually the bagpiper going right down the middle of the mall too there. Yeah. That was a very moving moment for me the first time I went.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this past year was the rain.
The rain was tough.
Was tough. But that's the first time I've experienced that rain, since I've been going. But I haven't missed Washington, D.C. since I lost Stephen. I just think it's too important to go back and see families, and especially the first years. And if you notice, we all have our name tags on us so you know who's new and who's not. And it's so important to go up to somebody who, is brand new and say, "Hi, I'm Trish. I'm from New York. Tell me about your loved one." So, and they like that. Right. And then I met a new friend. Right. And they can't get rid of me.
Right. And that person who you're meeting for the first time, you were in their shoes just a few years ago, and you remember how important that was to you.
Right.
Do you guys have meetings down there in DC during the memorial for the widows of the fallen officers?
NYPD does. They have a gathering at the hotel for all of their NYPD families. And then I tell my Nassau and Suffolk County families if there's, and I always hope that we don't have anybody new. But if we do, jump into this meeting because it's informational. You'll know what's going on. And the last couple of years, I've had some of the Nassau County wives Nassau County families have gone in, and just listen because it can answer a lot of questions for you. And we usually always have the national president comes in and speaks also, and then we always give tips of what to do, how things are going to work. So. But we get together because our sadly NYPD numbers are high every year. Right. So I try to get my other families into that meeting. So we have one gathering.
So for the most part, the police departments in New York, we have similar line of duty death benefits for the families. But now as a regional trustee representing 9 states, do you see a large difference from state to state in maybe the sort of information you might share amongst each other?
Well, since I'm so new, I really haven't been able to meet every single chapter yet. Okay. I am going to a TLE, which is a Traumas of Law Enforcement in Massachusetts in a week. So I'll be up there and I'll be meeting their law enforcement agencies and getting my name out because I was just elected I just got this in June, July. Okay. So it's really very brand new. So I've already reached out to the presidents of the chapters and saying, I want to be able to come to you. I want to be able to meet you. So I'm going to be getting their schedules and scheduling myself to travel to their meetings. Because we have a monthly meeting for our chapter. In fact, tonight is the first one. The New York chapter. Okay. So we don't have a lot of people that come to our chapter meetings, but we do try to have a Zoom. So anybody who can jump in. But people are busy. And I get it. People, if you're working, you come home, then you put on your mom hat or your dad hat, and you're busy with the kids and dinner and activities. So it is hard. But, we do our best to reach out.
I think like every job's different. I mean, I've been in the city, we've been in the city, and now we come out here. We see how each job, each union's different. I always wonder, like, when you find in different places, how the different jobs respond to line of duty deaths and how they treat the families after the fact.
I hate to say this in public. New York, I find our area, Suffolk, Nassau, New York, is really great. Sadly, there are departments who don't understand, and they drop the ball a lot. And then you have to reach out, like, please include the survivors. And some survivors will come to me like, my department doesn't speak to me at all. And I'm like, go to them, ask them for a meeting, like, tell them how important how it's important to include you and be involved. Your PBA is great. We have that luncheon in March that I love. And you invite us to things. And it's important to say that, by inviting us, you're also saying we haven't forgotten you.
Right.
When you're not invited, you feel forgotten, like, oh, am I not important? But Suffolk's great, Nassau's great, NYPD is great. NYPD, because their numbers are high, so they're always having the memorial services, and it's constant.
Right.
I think it's important that we never forget either. Your husbands or your significant others sacrificed their life for this job, so it's important not to forget. And hopefully, a lot of the same departments across the country do similar to what we do.
Yeah, I know. Damon Marrow chairs our legacy committee, and we rely heavily on him to stay in constant contact with you, with Susiano, and all of our families of our fallen. And we do make a conscious effort to try to include you guys whenever we can. Like you had mentioned, the March luncheon we do every year. We do the luncheon in DC every year. Next week we have the Ducks baseball game. We try to always invite everybody to a suite to enjoy the Blue game at the Ducks game. So we do try to make a conscious effort, but I'm sure that there's stuff we could do better still. I'm sure there's stuff we can improve on.
And even the memorial outside the building that CJ helped put together and put up in front. I think it came out beautiful, and it's a nice way to honor those.
Yeah, we definitely try to embrace that side of things and try to make sure that everybody knows this is a family. This is a Blue family, and nobody's ever going to be forgotten.
Yeah, I don't like to miss the events because I find them important, especially for my department, and my department is Suffolk County. But I am missing a couple of events because I'm traveling. And it's only because I'm traveling. It's not like I'm going to be sitting home or going out to dinner with friends. But it's because I'm traveling. So I'm not at the Ducks game because I think because I volunteer also for Tour de Force.
That's another great organization. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, I volunteer for Tour de Force. I rode my bike once and I fell. And on Queens Boulevard. So they scooped me up, stuck me in an ambulance, and took me away.
So can you talk a little bit about where those bike rides are and what they do, what they raise money for? Because that's a great group.
Those are officers and some family members that bike ride to raise money for fallen families from across the country. So it's not just this one time. They do have other smaller ones, throughout the year, but this is the big one. And the first, for many years, they were going from either Boston to New York or New York to Boston. So the year I rode was Boston to New York, and I fell on day 4. A little embarrassing. So now I do support because we're all safer if my feet are on the ground. Anyway, but this year it's in Atlantic City. Where did we go last year? I don't remember where we went last year, but this year it's in Atlantic City. So I'll be there for 4 or 5 days. And I don't know what the map is, but I will be doing support for them.
That's great.
So I'd rather do the mother part of it and feed everybody and take care of everybody. Which
is a vital role. You need that.
Support's a lot. I didn't realize how hard support works until you do it. And you're like, wow, we really work from the moment we get up until crashing in bed at night.
Yeah, riding the bike for a cause is great, but doing the support work and making sure that the bike riders that are riding hundreds of miles have, water available to them, little snacks, even if it's a simple granola bar or a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, right? Just little things to help keep them going. throughout this long ride.
Yeah, I team up with this girl, Deirdre, and we actually developed a really good reputation. So we home bake a lot of things and bring it with us. And then I learned as a bike rider, even though I don't like it, pickles, pickle juice. I'm like, you need to have these things for the riders because they're cramping up.
Yeah.
And they need this stuff. So I've been able to help the support team. And I'm saying you need to have shot glasses, the throwaway shot glasses of pickle juice for the riders because they come in and they're cramping and they need that relief, and water's not going to take care of that.
Right.
So anyway, Deirdre and I have developed a reputation that when they see us set up, everybody wants to stop because we have the bananas with peanut butter, the apples with peanut butter, the little peanut butter sandwiches, the homemade things. So, and then a cutting board with cutting up pickles and pouring shot glasses of pickles, pickle juice. So everybody stops for us.
Right.
So.
And, when you make those little stops too, not only is it important so you can keep your body going, but it's a nice little 5-10 minute rest to socialize again and kind of remember why you're doing what you're doing.
Right.
Because, when you get into a long bike ride or a long run, you almost get lost. You kind of just go into like autopilot and you just keep moving, right? You almost get like mindless. So it's good to remind yourself why you're doing this.
Yeah, I love Tour de Force. They did donate to us. Mm-hmm. So it's important for me to give back to them. So anybody who's helped me, I do my best to give back to them also.
Yeah, it's great. That's it's a great group that I don't think gets enough recognition for what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of giving back, I mean, all this time since Stephen's death, I feel like you've made it your mission to give back. Is there anything down the road that you look forward to getting involved in? As far as like what you're doing, how do you feel about what you've done since his passing?
I didn't know what my purpose in life was going to be because we raised our sons. They were going off and starting their own careers. I'm like, what's my purpose? Like, why am I even here? So finding C.O.P.S and being able to get so involved and connecting and being able to connect with so many people, I found my purpose. Mm. So this has become my purpose, is to be involved with the survivors across the country, not just here, but across the country. And I've gotten pretty good at it. I'm just able to feel for everybody. Like my loss might be different from a parent's loss or from a sibling's loss, but I can still feel for you and say, I'm a spouse survivor, but my heart still breaks for you. And I want to hear your stories of your loved one. And people like that. They want to know that I'm not that, well, let me tell you about Stephen. I'm like, no, tell me about your loss, and I love hearing the stories. I love hearing that's another great person. And that great person's not here anymore, but let's keep the legacy going. So, and I hope to keep growing in the C.O.P.S organization, and we'll see what happens with me down the road. Right now I'm a new trustee. It's a 2-year term. Let's see if my area wants me again, they'll vote me in again. And we'll see what happens. But I truly get a lot out of this.
It's awesome to hear that you really turned around Stephen's death and truly impacted so many lives of survivors. Yeah,
and it's important for me to keep his name out there, to say, he was good. He was a great dad. He was a great officer. He was a great mentor. He wasn't so bad. I made him crazy, but
that's what women do.
That's what we do. But he kept loving me, and he would it's so funny how he would get annoyed with me. He's like, Trish, that's my wife. But
yeah, for anybody out there watching, how could they get involved in C.O.P.S, supporting the organization? Is there a place they could donate money to, donate time to certain events? If there's anybody that wants to help out, how could people help?
We do accept donations. That's how we survive, right. by donations. And then those donations, we're able to help support survivors. We can't pay for everything. We can't pay for hotel rooms because we are not a wealthy chapter, but we can help offset people's travel costs. So if someone decides to go to Washington, D.C., and they've been involved, like doing a few things with our chapter, we can help pay for their travel. You know, like submit your travel, and we'll do our best to help, you know, offset some of the costs.
Right.
Not like if you're flying first class, that's not happening.
Right.
But we will try to do our best to
make it manageable.
Right. You know, because it is expensive. Going to Washington, D.C. is a 3 or 4 day, for me, it's a week at least, but it's 3 or 4 days, and it's expensive.
It is.
You know, it's not.
Anybody who's ever traveled knows that in the high demand weeks, the hotel prices skyrocket too. And in that week in particular, there's cops from all over the country there, and the hotel prices get very expensive.
Right. Yeah. So, but I still do it.
So if somebody did want to donate, how can they find the organization? Is there a website, social media?
It is. It's Metro New York. Oh God, I just forgot my website. Just had a brain fart. Metro New York Cops.org. That's Metro New York Cops.org.
Okay, and a Google search. We'll post the link in the episode, and I'm sure a Google search can help direct people in the right direction.
But we do. It is donations. We have a which kind of started under me. We're having our second annual luncheon, and it's our way to invite departments and companies that have supported us to invite you to a luncheon to say thank you. So Damon came last year.
Yep.
And so that's our little way of saying, because we can't do a lot, but that, you know, it's like we need to say thank you to those who support us. So we invited Nassau, Suffolk, NYPD, and different companies and the different unions to come, and so we can say thank you.
Yeah, and we appreciate that too. And I know Damon was excited and happy to go because he definitely takes a lot of pride in his role with helping the legacy families.
Yeah, he's good. We love Damon.
Yeah, we do too. Yeah. Well, you know, Trish, we appreciate you coming on today. We appreciate you sharing your story with us. We know, you know, it might be difficult to talk about, but I think it's an important message for people to hear about, so people are aware of what's still going on in the communities and with first responders who responded to 9/11 on that day.
I'm having the street renaming for Stephen on Friday.
Yeah. And I'll be there. I'm excited to attend. That's a great honor for Stephen. I'm sure it's going to be exciting for you and your kids too, to be able to see that the street you live on is now named for Stephen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep,
that's awesome.
I had sold James our family home, and I bought a little house across the street.
Okay.
So we both have the corner houses. I didn't go very far, but I sold James the family home. He wanted the family home.
It's kind of like the Everybody Loves Raymond, right?
Yeah, I don't do that though.
You're not Maria.
I don't do that. I'm not Maria. I before I come over, I call or I text.
Okay.
And when they're like, today I'm going to take care of the dog while they're both at work. So, you know, I'll go over. But yeah, it's very respectful. Like, I don't just pop over because that's not fair. That's not fair to James and Nicole. You know, when they come home from work, they want to be together. They don't want like mom there.
Eventually, when there are grandbabies involved, I'm sure they will appreciate the help right across the street, though.
Yeah, James is like, when we have kids, they're going over to you. I'm like, well, you might have to ask me too.
You are busy. You might be out of state somewhere.
I know. Like, make sure I'm home.
Yeah, you are helping people.
Make sure I'm home.
Yeah. So, you know, we appreciate everything you do to help the families, you know, the survivors. I thank you for coming on today and sharing your story.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and I look forward to seeing you on Friday.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Trish.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Tanner.